Ever feel like you're doing everything right in your business, but you just can't expand? You learn more, you optimize your strategy, you push harder, but something still holds you back. The twist is, it's probably not just your strategy or just your marketing. In this video, I will show you 3 invisible somatic blocks that can stop you from expanding your activity and your business. So the first one is what I call the visibility edge. So I guess you heard the same advices that come from marketing experts that you should just publish more, be consistent, have your content calendar, and make sure the people you want to have as clients can find you. And all of that makes total sense. Now, the thing that you might not be aware of is something called neuroception. Neuroception is a concept that comes from nervous system healing, nervous system regulation, and it simply means that your body, your nervous system, is always scanning your environment for signals of safety and signals of danger. So it's a process that is totally unconscious. It happens all the time, automatically, without your awareness, except if you are very carefully trained and you can notice that. So the problem with that is, imagine you are publishing a video on YouTube. Your conscious mind thinks it's totally fine, it's totally safe. Your nervous system, the neuroception, is scanning the environment, and the neuroception concludes that this is dangerous. What is going to happen is, even if you know that it's totally fine, your body is going to change its response. So you're probably going to switch into a more survival state. And that's going to impact the way you speak, the way you look at people, if you smile or not, the tension in your neck, even your voice. Like, the voice is actually very impacted by your nervous system. So yes, it's about visibility, but visibility for us, for people, for humans being, can be perceived as a threat. Our nervous systems were designed for lions, so obviously there is no lion in your living room, but you need to remember that your body was designed for lions, and the threat detection didn't really change. So the person that you don't know that is going to comment your video might become the lion, and that is going to impact your marketing. That is going to impact your visibility if you don't know about it. Okay, the second one is what I call the expansion edge, or the identity edge. So the core idea behind this one is that every time you want to reach a new level, a new goal, it could be in business, it could also be in your personal life, but business really acts as a mirror, so it's very clear. You're going to need to expand your identity, or in other words, you're going to expand your container. What I mean by that is, let's say you want to publish a book. In order to publish the book, you have to become an author. And this is a new identity. You are not an author before, now you are one. And this is a process of change. This is a process of transformation. This is a process of becoming. Entrepreneurship is a process of transformation and becoming. The moment you ask for more, you enter a process of transformation. There is no other way around it. It's basically transformation. And probably what is going to show up is who you think you're allowed to be. And we all have different ideas. Maybe you think you're allowed to earn a certain amount of money, but not more than that, because if you earn more, maybe something is going to happen. I don't know what. We all have some limiting beliefs, and when you build a business and when you want to grow it and reach more people and become more visible, you're going to figure out what are these limiting beliefs. They are going to appear. It's going to be super clear. So in that case, you will need to update the container. You will need to update your somatic capacity to hold more, to hold this vision, to feel comfortable with holding more, to feel comfortable with this bigger, bolder identity. With the example of becoming an author, you will need to find a way to get comfortable with this identity of becoming an author. And yes, part of it is conscious, but the unconscious always runs the show. And if your nervous system believes that being an author is actually dangerous, I don't know why, because maybe in the past authors were not really appreciated in your family, or whatever the reason, your nervous system is going to send you information in your body somatically, and it's going to make you feel horrible and nervous and stressed. So you need to increase the container, you need to increase your somatic capacity to deal with these emotions, these fears, these doubts that are coming. That's the way it usually happens when we transform ourselves, when we make an update in a way that feels safe enough for your body, so you continue to show up. The last one is what I call the marketing implementation edge. So in the introduction, I said it's not about marketing, but it is. Like, everything is connected. So if you have a business, you have to use marketing, obviously. And my training is to work in growth marketing. That's my training. So I'm very interested in numbers, in KPIs, in funnels. I love that. I really like that. That's my profession, basically. So of course I like that. I will never say that it's not important. So that's the reason why there is this third point. But what I noticed, especially if you're a solopreneur, you have a small business, or you have a small team, or you are the only one dealing with marketing, I'm not talking about a big company, it would be different. Then your funnel is going to mirror your internal state. And it sounds a bit weird, but let's give you an example. Imagine Laura, she's a coach. She's extremely comfortable giving. She learned that as a child growing up, that giving was safe, was appreciated. So if you look at the funnel, like she's trying to sell an online course, let's say. You look at her funnel, and the top of the funnel, how can we call that? The top of the funnel is how do we call that? Yeah, the top of the funnel, the place where you attract people, the awareness stage. So she's really good at this. She knows how to create engagements. She knows how to create nice carousels, nice videos. She's very comfortable, and the numbers reflect that in the funnel. So the top of the funnel, the awareness stage, works extremely well. Then when you move down or up the funnel, at some point, you will see the place where she should start selling. And then what we notice is that the conversion rate drops. So of course you can analyze that with marketing. You can say, okay, the newsletter was not good enough. Maybe the call to action wasn't clear. Maybe the sales page of the offer is not clear, not very engaging. Maybe there are no testimonials. You have an immense list of things you could improve in terms of strategy. The error would be to think that the strategy comes from nowhere. The strategy is created by a human being with a nervous system. So the question is, why is this coach able to create amazing free content, but struggles to create the right call to action, struggles to talk enough about her offer, didn't spend a lot of time on the sales page? Why? That's the question. Very often we know what to do, or we have at least an idea, but the implementation is the problem? Why is the implementation the problem? Probably because your nervous system runs the show. Your unconscious runs the show. The reason why this number, this conversion rate is not that good is, yes, strategy, but you are a human being and you lead the strategy, so you impact the strategy. So what are the limiting beliefs? What are the fears? What are the things you learn about yourself that like push you to act this way? That's the question. So in this case, this person just feels safer to give than to ask for money. And you can see that in the funnel. And that's always the case. When you read a funnel, when you check the numbers, yes, there is a part that is strategy, but there is also a part that is about you as a human being. And if you only focus on strategy, at some point you're going to get stuck because you're part of the game too. Your nervous system is part of the game. So what is the conclusion? I think you get it. The strategy matters. I like it. I'm all about the strategy. I'm all about marketing, but there is something else. There is your unconscious and there is your nervous system. And we talked before about neuroception, the capacity, the ability of your body to always detect threats and safety. This impacts your business. The good thing, the good news is that you can work with your unconscious and you can also work with your nervous system. So you can basically rewire your nervous system at any point, and you can do that as an adult. So if you see that you struggle, for example, with visibility, maybe it's time to address the underlying issue, and maybe it's time to work with your nervous system. Because if you push yourself all the time and you are in a state of fear, it's first very uncomfortable, and second, it doesn't matter the strategy and the beautiful content calendar. You're going to struggle with consistency, and it's not a mindset issue. It's really a somatic one. So you need to work with your body.